Back at the farm again. Now, the question I get from people all the time is, how long does it take to draw off syrup? How long do you have to cook the sap? It depends, and it depends on the sugar content of the sap. Now, if we look at this chart right here, this is based on almost 2.5% sugar. At 2.5% sugar, really closer to 2.25, it takes 40 buckets of sap to make 1 bucket of syrup. Now, if I boil off 20 gallons an hour, it will take me 2 hours to boil off 40 gallons, which in theory should give me 1 gallon of syrup every 2 hours. It never works that way. This machine is stubborn. You always spend more time boiling than you anticipate, but that's our ratio. So let's do this. Let's check the sugar content of the sap from a tree I just pulled out. Now, this is a sap hydrometer. It goes from 0% sugar, which is what we would get with just tap water, and it goes all the way up to 12%. I have never seen a tree with 12% sugar. So I'm going to take some sap from that tree. Now, mind you, this sap has been laying in the bucket for a week or so because our program did stop. It hasn't been a great season, but let's see what happens. I'm going to hold this right up here. I'm going to put the sap hydrometer. In case you're unsure, that's very close to 0, which means the sugar content has decreased because of the bacteria, and we wouldn't bother boiling this. And I'm going to give you an idea. Usually, it should be at 2% sugar, and it will float to there. Recently, I had several buckets that were at 0.5% sugar. Now, if I had 0.5% sugar in the sap, that means using the rule of 86, and that's a whole nother video, but using the rule of 86, instead of 40 buckets to get 1 bucket, I would need 171 buckets of 0.5% sap to get 1 bucket of syrup. So sugar makers, when they get sugar percents that are that low, they simply dump out the sap. It's not worth the time to boil. Now, in our next segment, we're going to talk about the different grades of syrup, which are actually related to the sugar content. So be sure to join us for our next